Download the BCSN Plus app today.
You guys have chatted all night about teams that are getting hot at the right time and playing well, so that got us talking and thinking about teams that are scary matchups that you don't want to see on your side of the bracket. I know Yao's answer already.
It's funny right now how Coach Boyd is just keeping quiet.
Oh,
I feel like he's about to say something to just take the top off.
Hit with it, Coach.
I'll let you go, Coach.
What you got, Rhett?
A team that we have not talked about this team a lot. We really haven't, week in and week out. St. Francis.
Sure.
But there's a
Gotta
reason
win tonight.
There's a reason
why. What is it?
Because they have bad losses. I feel like, when
I want to hear this.
When
yeah, please.
When you date a girl and all the dates are terrible, but it's like she has a great personality. You're obsessed with the idea of her, not necessarily what she is, right? So I feel like with St. Francis, you got to look at it as they are, not exactly what you think they are, right? We know what they did last season, so I'm not going to count them out just yet, but you can't say at the beginning of the show, all right, yeah, St. John's is a sleeper team, and then now say St. Francis is a sleeper team, and then all the while say, well, Anthony Wayne could beat them too, but not a sleeper team at all. Like, only one of those teams is going to make it out the district.
Okay.
So
let him finish.
No, you're good.
Yeah, who can stop Boyd? Who can stop Boyd? I need your answer to this.
Anthony Wayne. I'm not done. Hold on a minute. Wait. Actually, let him go.
Okay, listen.
Deion's going to leave. All right.
You're right. Allen Horton is a matchup nightmare. Okay.
Period.
Now, where they have gotten incrementally better in the last couple of weeks is that their guard play. Their guard play struggled early in the year because they had Jamison Heck and Soroka the last 3 years handling the basketball. So it was an adjustment there. You got young Ja Hornbeek on the point. You got Polonitz back on the wing. All right, and you got Chenault, long, lanky guy as well. They've gotten better handling the ball, handling pressure. In terms of each having big games and carrying the team when teams are doubling, collapsing on Horton, that's improved throughout the season. I'm just telling you this. They're in the same boat as they were last year at this point. We were kind of like, yeah, okay, but, well, what happened? They got all the way down to Columbus. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get to Columbus this year. What I'm saying is you asked, Brandon, who may be a little bit under the radar that you don't want to play. Yeah. That is a tough matchup for teams because of their length and their size inside. We'll see how it goes, but we talk a lot about certain teams. That's one that maybe we don't talk about enough, and we'll see what happens.
I'm surprised you didn't say St. John's after the win over Brother Rice. A Brother Rice team, by the way, that beat St. Francis by 33.
And also lost to St. Francis too. My point is this though. St. John's isn't under the radar. That's my point. St. John's isn't under the radar because they did beat St. Francis and they did beat Brother Rice tonight. So that's a team we talk about a lot. I don't look at them as being under the radar. St. Francis to me is somebody we haven't talked about enough, but we should.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think we haven't spoken about St. Francis?
Because their games haven't been on our network on a Friday night.
They had a lot of trips up to Detroit. They've had, trips up and down.
But what has happened in those trips?
Real quick,
Well, you got to remember, before last week, St. Francis was riding a 3-game losing streak.
They just beat Orchard Lake St. Mary's tonight. A very good team.
Last week, so now they're on a 2-game winning streak. But before that was a 3-game skid. That's a reason we had to talk about
You can't win 2 games if you don't win 1. You can't get 3 if you don't win 2.
Brandon, real quick, you know I teach jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
You may need
I don't want the smoke in jiu-jitsu. I do not want the smoke in jiu-jitsu. I know you're a world champion.
You might need some lessons.
You might want to learn.
Me and jiu-jitsu wouldn't be in the same sentence.
I'm saying just in case.
You got Coach Kaczmarek added to the list. Coach McDonald's going to be looking for you. Coach Dempsey's already settled his beef at least.
I hate to compare this to what happened in the fall with Central Catholic football, but I based my ideals off what we've seen, right? What we know to be the case.
Coach showing the list.
Let me ask you, who are their losses to?
St. Francis?
Yep.
Brother Rice?
Great team.
Elite team. Oh, okay, you can't go.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about teams under the radar. Elite teams. Central Catholic, elite. Right? Pretty darn good.
So if we get to the Catholic League tournament and St. Francis, let's say, loses to a Central Catholic or St. John's or a Brother Rice, is that going to be the excuse heading into tournament time that we still believe in St. Francis because their losses are great losses?
Around here,
so there's no point to have this conversation then, because the losses should matter if we're looking at the outlook of this team in the tournament. Because when we get to the districts, the type of competition that St. Francis may see, we can look back at moments like this and say, well, St. John's was hot, so we kind of expect St. John's to get out of the district up
Let me ask you
ahead
this.
of St. Francis.
Okay, let me rephrase this for you. In the Division II district, right? And I know it's sectioned off. There's 2 districts, 4 of each. So I can't off the top of my head remember who's where, but
It's been shuffled lately.
okay.
Yeah.
So Lima's obviously outstanding.
Yeah,
right.
without question.
Okay.
Elite.
Anthony Wayne, St. Francis can beat them. Northview, St. Francis can beat them. Who else is in D2?
St. John's.
Ashland.
St. John's.
Ashland's
St.
in
John's. They beat St. John's. They split with St. John's this year. So why can't they?
Got Clay.
They can.
Clay in Division II.
We already established any given day. Anybody can be beat any
Well,
given day.
outside of
I'm
Lima,
saying
there's
if we're
nobody
making,
in that district that
that it'll be a
haven't beat.
blowout. Yeah, you're
don't have
absolutely
to win by
correct.
40.
Absolutely correct. There's no,
Right.
there's no team
One
in
more
that
point.
district that I can say besides maybe Lima Senior that St. Francis, no way they could beat them. Anybody could be beat, but I can say the same thing about Anthony Wayne, and you guys can say the same thing about St. John's.
I thought we were talking about scary teams. I'm
Scary
thinking first
team.
round.
Yeah,
like
but-
under the radar teams who you may see in the first
Essentially,
round.
Anthony Wayne, St. John's. I mean, you may want
feed you-
to throw start in
I'll
there.
feed
Any
you
of
2
these
more.
teams could be scary.
All right.
But what are you basing that off of? We got to base it off the resume that we've seen right now.
Yeah,
Right.
But not all losses are the same. That's my point. Not all losses are the
agree.
same.
And I-
Those
and
are
I-
elite losses.
And I fully agree. But if St. Francis is going to lose by 33 to Brother Rice, who's to say that they are going to beat a St. John's in a district final
They already
or a district
beat 'em.
They beat 'em.
semifinals?
They already beat them.
They beat 'em once.
Yeah, but we got to look at what we've seen recently. What have you done for me lately? And
Beat
lately,
Orchard Lake St. Mary.
Yo,
lately-
Janet Jackson.
I'm a big Janet
I'll
Jackson.
give you my 2 to settle things at the table.
And what did we see from Anthony
Maumee Valley.
Wayne tonight? Coming back from double digits to beat Clay, albeit without his top 2 scores, but still a great come-from-behind win by the Generals. But as you were saying, Brendan.
Maumee Valley, there's one.
Yep.
I think their talent level, you include Kieran Stokes, of course, in our
Oh,
top
of
30
course.
list. Jabron Price, somebody I don't think we talk about enough, his talent level on that Maumee Valley squad. And then on the girls' side, I don't want to play Notre Dame. I don't want to play Coach Galloway's team. They've beaten Magnificat.
And
they
they-
just beat Gabriel Richard in a dominant
After
fashion, a
losing to them
defensive
week and a half-
masterpiece.
and they lost them a week and a half ago, and they blew the doors off them
That
the other
is
night. And then
another
they got
team.
Yeah.
OG, who's undefeated. It was a 4-point game going in the 4th quarter. You got to remember this too. Coach Galloway's down to 6 varsity players due to injuries and whatnot. And what he's done over the last week, OG,
imagine-
it's that 4-point game going to the 4th. He beat Gabriel Richard this week.
Just
Imagine
the
that
resume.
team
This
with
guy's
a
a
healthy
winner.
Joy
Yes.
Battle. Man,
This
that
guy,
team.
this guy is a winner. I could have gave you that answer last week.
And
Just
we
having
haven't,
him at this
somebody we
desk.
haven't seen a ton of, and he was in here with us last week too, the Start girls. So much
Yes.
talent
Yeah.
across the
Yep.
board
Yep.
there. So many returning players from a great team last year.
That D2 district
It is
between
going to
Start, Northview, Anthony Wayne,
Yeah.
everybody's assuming Anthony Wayne's gonna run away with it. And
No.
if you're gonna say that, that's fine. But Coach Boyd, you called
Northview's
the
competed
game.
with them. Start's beating
Northview came
Northview.
back.
Yeah.
What
Start
happens in
beat
a,
Northview.
Exactly. What happens in a third matchup between Anthony Wayne and Northview if the Wildcats can actually pull off a comeback this
I
time?
don't know because
I'm not
I've seen this game play out 2
Yeah.
different ways.
Yeah.
You know, where in the first game
Northview was
it was
hot,
Northview
and they
jumped
were
out
leading.
hot. Anthony Wayne was good in the middle. Northview got hot in the 4th quarter and made a run. Last night it was Anthony Wayne jumps out to a 30-9
Yeah.
lead. And where it's like, look, sayonara, all she wrote.
That's what it looked
and then
like.
all of a sudden, it's 10 at the half. It's a 1-possession game in the 3rd. It's
Yeah.
a 2-point game with under a minute left. And Anthony Wayne, to their credit, withstood the rally, got free throws down the stretch, and won. So I think what you're asking, Yao, is what does a third game look like if it just played in a normal context without the big runs from either team, and it's more of a game of mini runs? I'd love to
Could
find
get
out.
very interesting.
But I will say about that
And you add the
start team,
playoff
Brandon,
atmosphere, yeah.
that start team, physical.
Yeah.
Physical.
Number one
And-
way to describe
And that's one thing that will
Hard-nosed
bother
defense.
both teams
Yup.
is physicality.
Yup.
And it showed it against Northview when they beat them over
Man.
Christmas area.
Man.